It's Charlie Adlard, and I draw The Walking Dead.
Alright.
Okay, so The Walking Dead is the most popular TV show on television right now. Do you watch it all?
Oh yeah, not live. I live in the UK, unfortunately, so of course I have to wait for it to come to our TV screens to watch it. But yeah, no, I enjoy it very much.
Do you like the differences?
Oh, totally. If it was exactly like the comic book, it kind of wouldn't be. What would be the point of actually making it? No, it has to be. It has to be different. It has to be the same and different at the same time. So you've got to. It has to keep. The best sort of adaptations is to keep to the core and everything of what the source material is and means. But within that, they can deviate, and I think the TV series does exactly what it should do in those terms.
Is it as big in the UK as it is here?
It's pretty big in the UK as well. I mean, it gets shown on what we call a satellite network first, which is a channel you have to pay for, and then it comes to a terrestrial network about 4 or 5 months after that. And that tends to be when I get to see it, if I get watch it on the television. Generally I've watched it already, so that's alright, but you know, yeah, I tend to watch it because I don't subscribe to any paid televisions. Not us in the UK, we don't pay for our television.
How many people do you run into that know you're the artist for The Walking Dead?
That's an interesting question. What, you mean just in general?
Just in general,
not just at a con. That's, well, not many, because not many people know what I look like or anything like that. I mean, it depends what situation you're in. If I'm in I don't know, if I'm in a department store or something like that, yeah, if you're in the public, not many people are going to know who you are. If you're in a kind of, I don't know, something like a, let's just think, something like a pub in the UK that might be a special sort of pub there. It might be like a, I don't know, a rock pub or a heavy metal pub or something like that. A few people might know who you are because that's the sort of thing you associate with The Walking Dead. Yeah, so it's different places you might be more popular, but generally I can walk around unhindered.
Are you attached to any of the characters that you draw? Like, are you sad when Kirkman decides, oh, it's done?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's always sad to see some of the favourites go. I'm sure it's the same with Robert. I'm sure he doesn't really want to, kill them. But I think, as all writers admit, once you've got so used to writing a certain amount of characters, they kind of tend to write themselves. So with Robert, I presume it's almost what's a good word? It's almost natural. They come to a natural end. In the end, it's only marks on paper. I kind of regret just drawing in a certain style sometimes with a character that might be killed, but that's half the magic of the show and the comic book is, no one is safe.
Which character do you miss most?
Miss most? To draw or just as a character?
Both.
To draw, I probably miss Dale because I really enjoy drawing Dale. As a character, that's a tricky one actually. Probably Abraham. I really enjoyed Abraham as a character.
How much design work went into the new character Ezekiel?
Probably a bit more design work than normal because he's a bit more unique in terms of his image and everything, because we like to keep most of our characters, sort of in some realm of reality because that's what The Walking Dead's about. Ezekiel's a bit more out there as a character, so there was a kind of a bit more toing and froing between Robert and I about how the character should look, because it's not very often you're going to get a character with a tiger as a pet. So we are. It feels like we're pushing the boundaries slightly with Ezekiel in terms of the Walking Dead universe, but on the other hand, everything will be explained as to why he looks the way he does and why he's got a tiger and things like that. He's certainly not sort of some fantasy character or anything like that.
Is there anything you can tell us about this new character, or is he completely under wraps?
He's completely. Of course I can't tell you anything.
Come on! It's bleeding cool, we have to ask for some gossip.
Okay, can you give us any clues to what to expect in the next issues? Just in general.
Well, things are obviously heating up somewhat. To be honest, and this is the God's honest truth, I haven't talked to Robert for a long time, and because both of us are so busy, obviously doing the writing and the artwork, it's kind of hard for us. It's hard for Robert to take time out to tell me what's happening. So if I talk to him, we tend to sort of cover a good few months in the future of what's going to happen, because that's the way the conversation will go. But if I haven't talked to him for a while, obviously those months have contracted and gone and everything, and all of a sudden I'm reading the scripts like a fan would, like a fan reads the comic book. So for me at the moment, since I haven't talked to him probably since San Diego last year, I'm literally reading the script, and I've got no clue as to what's going to happen next issue. So, which is quite an exciting place to be. It's nice to read the script and think, oh my god.
Are there any deaths that you've drawn that you were told to tone down? Like they were too graphic?
No.
No?
Not at all. I mean, you should read the scripts. The scripts actually sound more graphic than what I draw. And the irony is I actually prefer my horror to be off camera. And yet here I am drawing all this ridiculous gore.
Would you like to draw anything other than The Walking Dead right now? Like if you would pick anything?
I always say that, people ask me things like, what other character would you like to do? I say, well, the only characters I'd like to do for now until I retire, ones I've created for myself. So I've not really got any desire to do anybody else's character. We've got Robert and I doing another project anyway together called The Passenger, which is just a one-shot book, but it's done in a European sort of format, a French album format. So it's going to be 50 plus pages long, but large format, lots of panels on a page, which is going to be published by Image, obviously in English-speaking countries, and Delcourt, who published The Walking Dead in France, in French-speaking countries. So that's quite exciting. That's the avenue I'm sort of looking to go down afterwards, is the European market.
What is your favorite thing that you have done working with Kirkman and The Walking Dead?
In the last 10 years?
Yeah, ever.
It's hard to pinpoint a specific moment where things were suddenly all came together and things were like that, like you say. I think probably the moment we found out we were definitely going to be a TV show was fairly significant. I think that was a point where we realised that this probably wasn't just going to be quite a successful comic book. That was the point. I think suddenly we realised the whole universe of The Walking Dead was just literally going to explode.
What has been your least favorite thing to do for Walking Dead?
The deadlines, I suppose. I know everyone says that, but you're doing a monthly book, and sometimes the grind of it, and 99% of the times it isn't a grind, but sometimes that 1% when you've just got to get it done can be frustrating, because you're just not working to the best of your ability. You're just drawing it to get it finished, and sometimes that can get a bit much, and it's not so much like hard work, it's just frustration, because you turn in pages and you think, I could do that one so much better, I could put so much more into that page, but deadlines tell me that I can't.
What keeps you interested in drawing for The Walking Dead?
The characters, it's as simple as that. If it wasn't for the characters, I don't think I would have been on the book for as long, and I don't think the book would have lasted as long. If it was just a book about just zombie mayhem, I think we'd have probably lasted 20 issues and that was it. But because it's the characters that basically are the magic of the comic book, we could go on conceivably for another 10 years. We're celebrating our 10th anniversary this year. There's no reason we can't celebrate our 20th.
Although Zombie Mayhem, great name for a band.
Google it, there probably is one.
Might be.
How did you meet Kirkman?
I knew knew Robert through a mutual friend in Joe Casey, the comic book writer.
Did Coldfish together.
We did Coldfish together, yeah. Well, we did Coldfish originally for Image,
Yeah.
obviously, and then after that, Image couldn't publish the last 3 chapters, and Robert stepped in with his, at the time, his indie publisher Funkotron, and offered to at least put the last 3 episodes of Coldfish out. And because of that, I'd met Robert a couple of times at various American cons, and we kind of knew each other. And then the next thing that happened, I had an email out of the blue from Robert saying, "Do you want to work on this little comic book of mine about zombies?" And the rest is history.
All right. Were you surprised to see the Michonne special published in Playboy?
Might as well show it. You got it with you.
There it is.
Yeah, we should. In fact, we should get him to sign that because Kirkman did. Because that's.
Cool.
Yeah.
I was quite surprised. I got to admit, I didn't think we'd ever do something for a magazine like that. But having said that, you know, I know there is a cliche with Playboy about, you know, people saying, "Yes, I read Playboy. I read it for the articles."
Tell the story from last night when we were showing that issue.
Oh yeah, everyone in our hotel was reading this. They're like, "Oh, there's a Walking Dead one in there." No one knows about
no
it.
one knew, really, no one knew about it.
Nope.
But the funny thing is, I got to admit, when I saw the magazine after we did the strip, and I was flicking through the magazine, I was actually thinking, do you know, 80% of it is just articles.
It is. Well, if you open it up, actually take it out. Yeah. If you open it up, it immediately falls to the pictorial spreads. It's like we had to dig through the pages to find the Walking Dead portion of it.
Right.
It's like,
Dig through it.
and of course the picture of Kirkman in the top hat.
Well, it is that classic thing. It's the, you know, isn't it? If you get when you were at school and stuff, and you went into the local library, and if you got out, should we say, a certain salubrious novel or whatever, it would naturally fall open at the sexy bit or whatever, because that's what all the school kids have got to just read the sexy bit and not read the rest of the novel, and then by its very nature of being the most turned to few pages, the book just naturally falls open at the naughty bits. So yeah, obviously Playboy is designed in some way to just fall open at the spreads.
Is that interesting to think about? More men were probably buying this for the Walking Dead portion than for the nudity at that point.
Well, exactly. There's a kind of a weird irony there, isn't there?
How do you imagine The Walking Dead ending?
It will end in terms of we will not. The last thing we want to do is just I don't know. The last thing we want to do is it just literally end, i.e. an issue comes out and then an issue doesn't come out, and no one, and you're at that point where no one's interested anyway. That's the last thing we want to happen. So we're either, the plan is to either finish it when we think it's come to a natural end, or put an ending in place when sales are dictating that this might happen. So I'm not saying this is going to be something we're going to do in the next year or something. This could be, like I say, another 10, however many years down the line. Who knows? All I'm saying is there is an end, and we'd like to end it rather than just let it drift off into obscurity and no one care, which would be the worst sort of ending for something like this.
Is there any other comments you want to add?
Read The Walking Dead. There you go. All those few people out there that don't, do.